So in the past, what I normally would have done was I would have started out the podcast by talking about the Edmonton Oilers for a little bit, and then eventually I would wrap up by talking about combat sports. This time I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I do have my reasons for that. But the important thing that you need to know is that this time I'm not actually going to talk about a fight that is going to happen. I'm going to talk about something that's already happening, or rather something that's been happening on an ongoing basis. So this past weekend, as I'm sure that a lot of people are well aware, DAZN put on this another one of these influencer boxing cards. And as much as I absolutely hate to talk about this, because honestly I think that influencer boxing just needs to die, I am very interested in what's going on with Tommy Fury. And so Tommy Fury, as I am sure that pretty much everybody who has any idea who he is aware, is the younger brother of the heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. He is the unified heavyweight boxing champion of the world. He is the lineal heavyweight boxing champion of the world, undisputed. Easily one of the best boxers of all time and easily the best boxer of his generation. I don't think that anybody's going to get close to touching him. Sorry, Francis Ngannou, I love you, but I don't think it's happening for you. And so you just heard me gush a little bit about Tyson, but I'm not really here today to talk about Tyson. I'm here to talk about Tommy. And as much as I hate to say it, it kind of seems to me like Tommy Fury has kind of resigned himself to being the Fredo of the Fury family. And it really hurts me to say that because a guy with the lineage of Tommy Fury, he doesn't have any business being the Fredo of anything. I mean, he is not just the younger brother of Tyson Fury, the world's heavyweight champion, as I mentioned before. He's also the grandson of Brantley Gorman, who is literally one of the lineage of like bare knuckle boxing's gypsy kings. This guy should be aiming towards being a king in his own right. And he's got a pretty reasonable career going for him. I mean, he's currently 25 years old. He's 9-0. He hasn't lost a professional boxing match yet. And I think that at the rate that we're going, we have to ask if that actually means anything at this rate, or if it's going to mean anything in the long run. Because while he has not yet lost a professional boxing fight, I think that we almost now have to ask the question of when is he actually going to have another professional boxing match? That's a very real question for him because he's not actually coming off of one right now. He didn't just fight a professional boxer. He fought some YouTuber, KSI. Now, ironically, I mean, you are most likely seeing this on YouTube because that's where I put these up. I don't actually have any idea who KSI is. I don't actually have any idea what KSI does. I don't understand why it is that this guy is supposed to be famous enough that we're supposed to be interested in seeing him fight Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, or anybody else for that matter. I don't know who the hell this guy is. And I'm not going to bother to research it because I'm not that interested. But I am very interested in who Tommy Fury is. And I'm very interested in what Tommy Fury does with his boxing career. And from the looks of it, it's going to be not very much. Because right now, he's 25 years old. Right now, he needs to be in the prime of his career, fighting professional boxers, making his way up the rankings, contending for a world championship. And his last fight is against KSI. And the previous fight, is it really any better than that? His previous fight was Jake Paul. Well, Jake Paul has actually kind of surprised me a little bit with the way that he's become a very, very competent boxer. I do have a certain degree of respect for the way that he boxes. He's not a professional boxer. He's not a contender. The only way that he's ever going to be a contender is if he somehow throws enough money around in this sport to basically buy himself, into a contending fight. I mean, it's basically the only reason why any of these guys have anything resembling any kind of significance in the sport as a period. They didn't earn it, they bought it. And Tommy Fury, for as well as he's done for himself when he's actually fought other professional boxers, he doesn't really have the money to just buy his way into that kind of a position. He has to earn it. And maybe, arguably, his brother, Tyson Fury, he must certainly have the money, to buy that, to buy his younger brother into that contending position, if he so chooses to do it. But he doesn't really seem like he's willing to write the check. I mean, they barely wanted to be involved in this thing with him and Jake Paul. Tyson Fury went so far out as saying that if he lost to Jake Paul, Tommy Fury was going to have to change his last name. Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, you were in the lineage of the gypsy kings of bare knuckle boxing, and you're losing to a YouTuber. Yeah, that doesn't wash. That can't be allowed to stand. And Tyson Fury, of all the things that he is interested in, it is pretty clear when you listen to him talk that one of the things that he is most interested in is maintaining that family lineage and maintaining that family legacy. Right now, it kind of feels like Tommy Fury is not pulling his weight. Because not only is his last fight, his last professional boxing fight against a YouTuber, his previous professional boxing match was against another YouTuber, and who's he asking for in his next fight? Logan Paul. So he beat Jake Paul, arguably beat KSI. There's a lot of people out there who seem to think that he didn't actually win that match. I can't say really what I think about that because I didn't bother to watch because, like I said, was not especially interested in that fight. But I mean, it's going into the record books as a win, so fair enough. But now the next one, he wants to fight Logan Paul, the guy who couldn't actually knock out Dylan Dennis, who apparently put zero effort into the actual, boxing match side of their little thing, which, to be honest with you, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I really don't, and I won't. But Tommy Fury, he really needs to to take a sit down and really start to think about what exactly is it that he actually wants out of being a boxer. It's got to be more than just being Tyson Fury's little brother. It needs to be a little bit more than that. He needs to figure it out. He might not necessarily go on to be the heavyweight champion of the world, but maybe he could aspire to being the cruiserweight champion of the world. That's something that is definitely within his wheelhouse. Maybe it's not as glamorous as being the heavyweight champion of the world. But you definitely don't want to go into the history books as the Fury family's Fredo. And I'm sorry, that's exactly the way that it's going right now. If you've seen The Godfather, I'm sure that you have. Fredo. The little brother of the Corleone family, who they have to protect the whole time, and he doesn't really do very much. And if anything, he's kind of like the sore thumb. He's the Achilles heel, the weak point of the whole Corleone family. Fredo. Now think about it. You're Tommy Fury. You are the grandson of Brantley Gorman. Do you really want to be... Do you have any business being the Fredo of anything? No, you really don't, but it just kind of right now, it does sort of seem like Tommy Fury is not aspiring to any more than that. I don't understand it. I really don't. I'd like to. And to tell you the truth, I want to like the guy. I want to like the kid. I like his brother. I'd like to like him. But he's got to do a little bit more. Because, I'm not, of all the things that I'm going to be a fan of, I'm not going to be a fan of Fredo.